and I saw him do it many, many a time. And he incorporated those values into me. As a matter of fact, one of the nicest things he ever did for me, and of course, there was no reason for him to keep the car, but 2 months before he died, I had a 1994 emerald green Ford Taurus. Beautiful car. Well, I had an oil change done in early August of 2001, and the idiots that put the oil filter back on the car didn't get the oil filter on there straight. So my engine, of course, lost oil real fast and blew up the engine. Well, my dad knew he's dying. He couldn't drive anymore, so he gave me his car. That was one of the nicest gifts. Now, he didn't have to do that, but he knew that I was in financial dire straits, and he was going to have to get rid of the car one way or another. My mother was probably going to sell it anyway. So, but I'm just saying, sometimes I wonder, are you really giving from the heart, or are you giving because you like the emotional rewards that you get from people saying, well, that's a good thing to do, or, you know, I question motives. So when I see stuff like that, it makes me wonder. And it goes back to what I've said earlier this month on this program about people who are talking about what they're thankful for, the postings they put on Facebook. And I'm sure that 99% of them are genuine. Okay, I don't fault you for that. But it comes to a point to me where that's bragging. And that's part of the reason why I question it, some of the stuff that I read. Well, I went off on a tangent there that I didn't plan on, so I'll get off of that right now. Well, speaking of yesterday, of course, one of the traditions is watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I've done that off and on probably since I was in first grade that I can remember. And I always get a big thrill out of watching the floats. And, you know, I really like the homegrown entertainment. You know, I don't care for the pop singers or, you know, the boy bands or things like that. I like, you know, but I do like the big name brands. You know, I like to see Kermit. I especially love seeing Snoopy. Snoopy has been, you know, is probably the most prominent hot air float or balloon in the parade in Macy's history. As a matter of fact, I think this year was what I said this yesterday, and I forgot what generation Snoopy this is, but Woodstock and Snoopy were finally together. Enjoyed that. But another thing I enjoyed, and it was something I brought up on Wednesday's program at the last minute, and pull up the information here and even have an audio clip for you, was the East Coast Marine Band. Let me do that again. The East Coast Marine Corps Composite Band, and they participated in this year's Thanksgiving Day Parade yesterday. Now, the parade began adjacent to Central Park, made its way down to Herald Square, where the band performed on live television. And the East Coast Marine Corps Composite Band is comprised of 80 instrumentalists from the Marine Corps' three largest East Coast installations. That's the Marine Corps Base in Quantico, Virginia, the Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, in North Carolina, and the Marine Corps Air Station, Cherry Point, North Carolina. And I'm going to play you a segment of this fantastic band. In case you didn't hear it yesterday or would love to hear them again, I've got the audio portion. It's about a minute and a half long. So here we go. Let me turn off this noise, and I'll mute my microphone, and away we go.
Playing Strike Up the Band is the East Coast Marine Corps Composite Band, comprised of Marines from the Quantico, 2nd Marine Aircraft Wing, and the 2nd Marine Division Bands. The group, under the direction of Chief Warrant Officer 4 Robert Szabo and led by Drum Major Staff Sergeant Mark Bender.
125th birthday next year. Not looking at.
Okay, and there, that gives you an idea of the band and their sound. And only listening to them is only part of the thrill of watching it. Wow, it was just fun to watch them. Very well choreographed. Nothing real sophisticated, in terms of, a lot of elaborate steps, but very sharp moves, just like you would expect a Marine Corps band. So it was great to see some talent in there. And, of course, I knew one of the guys indirectly, and his wife and I are friends on Facebook. We've known each other since college. That's where we met. Michael Meschmeyer, and he plays clarinet, if I'm not mistaken. So, hope you enjoyed it, and it was great to see a connection to my college alma mater all the way in the Big Apple on the Thanksgiving Day parade. On to more personal matters here. It's with heavy heart that I pass along this bit of information. I learned about this yesterday morning, Wednesday morning after the show. I guess it would have been Wednesday afternoon when I first heard about it. What I'm talking about is a man I've known for 18 years. I haven't seen him for a long time, since I moved out of Huntsville, Missouri. But he was the chief of police in Huntsville, and he was found dead in his home, I believe Wednesday morning. Let's see, make sure I got that right. Yeah, found Randolph County Sheriff and Coroner have confirmed to various news media that Huntsville Police Chief William Buddy Stuck was pronounced dead Wednesday morning. He was recently, just this past July, as a matter of fact, appointed deputy coroner under Randolph County Coroner. Was it Brian Lunsford? For some reason that name's sticking out of my mind. Anyway, Stuck's death occurred approximately around 5:20 Wednesday morning. Randolph County Sheriff Mark Nichols confirmed that the death took place and said that it happened to be at Stuck's residence in Huntsville. Now, Nichols said his department, along with the Missouri State Highway Patrol's Division of Drug and Crime Control, are investigating the incident. Both Lunsford and Nichols said they would provide more information as it becomes available. As a matter of fact, Buddy's body was taken to Columbia and is undergoing an autopsy today. So my thoughts and feelings go out to Buddy Stuck, to his family, and many, many friends. I met Buddy. At first, he is a little... his voice throws you off. You're not quite expecting it. Picture a Bonnie Fife-type character with a squeaky voice. But he is a hell of a good man. And one of the first people that I befriended when I moved to Huntsville back in July of 1995. And we developed a rapport early on. He would sometimes tell me stuff off the record, which was very helpful to a budding journalist like me. And Huntsville and the Randolph County is going to miss a very good man. And so I just want to take a moment to thank Buddy for all of his contributions to law enforcement and to the community of Huntsville, Missouri. Now, getting back to a story that I first brought to you on Tuesday, is regarding my high school alma mater. But before I do that, while I'm thinking about it, there's a breaking story around midnight last night, and shame on KSHB for not following up. I know they have, advertisers to appeal to and please, but there was a pipeline rupture in Pettis County last night. I believe it was in Pettis County, yeah. And 30-inch pipeline ruptured shortly before midnight this morning in Pettis County, Missouri, sending flames several hundred feet into the air. According to Vicki Granado of the Panhandle Eastern Pipeline Company, the rupture and ensuing explosion happened just south of Houstonia, Missouri, which is about 75 miles to the east of Kansas City, Missouri. No workers were present at the pipeline location and no injuries were reported. Pettis County Sheriff's Office originally reported the explosion at 12:13 a.m. and asked people to remain clear of the area while emergency units responded. Granado said workers were trying to repair the line remotely by shutting down various parts of the pipeline, A completion time for the repairs was not yet known. Then a little after 2:30 this morning, about the time I went to bed, Pettis County Sheriff Kevin Bond said initially that residents within a 3-mile radius of the explosion were evacuated, but that has since been reduced to a half-mile radius. Firefighters from about 10 stations were working to extinguish the flames, but they were delayed while waiting for the pipeline company to shut off gas through the pipeline. Bond confirmed earlier reports that no workers were present, nor were any injuries reported, so that's good news there. Then an hour later, shortly after 3:30, 7 buildings were currently on fire at a hog farm near the explosion. The flames are being fueled by hay. That's according to reporter Sarah Hollenbeck with KSHB TV, television in Kansas City. And then about 4 hours ago, the fire has been extinguished. The company is working with local firefighters to make sure that all the residents in the area are taken care of. The gas has been rerouted from this area, so there will be no impact to customer deliveries. Sedalia resident John Paolo posted a video of the pipeline to YouTube. He had arrived about 15 minutes after the explosion occurred and was about 10 to 15 blocks away when he recorded his video. So I'm looking forward to playing that a little bit later on in private. So I just wanted to pass that along because it just occurred to me that they forgot to, or they didn't have time to mention it. And I thought, that's a pretty big deal because, pipelines aren't anything to mess around with. I saw one firsthand about, I'm trying to think what year that was. It's like 96 or 97, somewhere thereabouts. Might have been 95. I know I was working the overnight shift, and it was in late winter, early spring. It was like it was toward the end of March. It was a cold morning, about like it is today. Not quite as cold, but it was chilly enough. And it was just north of Centralia. And my parents said that they could see the flames all the way up here to Kirksville at times. There were reports of people saying that they could see it all the way up here, which is a distance about 100 miles probably. That was a pretty big deal. But all I wanted to do was go home, go to bed, but I did go up closer to it. I went within about, probably 10 to 15 miles of it when I went south of Moberly and checked that one out. But nothing like a gas line rupture that occurred when I was, I think, about 4th grade. It was in January of '82, so I would have been in 4th grade at that time. And there was a huge explosion, gas line, natural gas explosion in, I think it was Centralia. And anyway, a lot of homes were damaged, and I remember being worried that it was going to happen to our house in Fayette because we lived in an old house. It was probably about 50 years old at that point, and we ran natural gas. But thankfully, nothing like that ever happened there. Well, anyway, getting on with the details at hand here. Getting back to my high school alma mater, and of course, if you don't know about it, basically the crux of it is a math teacher and a former high school principal that's also a former math teacher now. She left the district earlier this year, this semester, I think. But anyway, she no longer teaches there. Well, anyway, are accused of sponsoring prayer and prayer services on school grounds for at least the last 3 years. Well, Fox News, of course, followed the story, and I had a feeling they would because they love this kind of thing. A lot of their viewers, listeners, gravitate toward this kind of crap because they are big proponents of, well, maybe not now Fox as a corporation, but a lot of the viewership and listenership at Fox News are more conservative, leaning more toward the Christian